Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All righty.
I got me a pair too, Jaime.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, man. Got me three. Got a three
dude.
pack. I need three more.
Yeah, dude, they feel great. I'm wearing them right now. Let me kick this off. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cantina MX Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jaime Landeros, episode 423. We're going to be talking about the Nations League matches tomorrow between Mexico and Panama. Should be a good one. And some dirty laundry from some of the players that were in the 2022 World Cup about Tata's tenure as coach as Mexico and some of the tactics he used. And also some comments, some arrogant comments from a professional quarterback, Lamar Jackson, talking about how he could have been the next Mbappe if he had picked soccer instead of football as his profession. We're going to talk about that and much, much more. Obviously, some Liga MX results. But before we go any further, I just want to thank everyone and welcome our good friend Joel. Joel, how we doing?
Good, Jaime. Doing good. Lots of football to talk this week.
Absolutely. You know, things just keep coming up and coming up. And I love it, dude. You know, for this episode, we had talked about like, oh, let's talk about Liga MX, obviously. But then, you get these things that come in last minute, like maybe there's an agenda against Tata Martino, because some of the players like Chucky Lozano, Edson Alvarez have been talking shit about Tata. And I'm like, oh, where's this coming from? I like it. I need more of this. I want violence, all of it. It's like, yeah. And then you have Guardado talking about someone needs to talk to Ochoa. And
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about, Jaime.
and
Not
then
about Ochoa, but his
yeah.
comments on Mex doing the U.S. a favor.
Yeah, and then also like, we were really talking about this in the chat about, how America, like, soccer's not the first sport that, kids aspire to play for. And if we had all the talented athletes, like we'd all be World Cup winners by now. So I want to definitely debunk that bullshit because I've heard it for the last 20 years. And then we also have some information about Libertadores and the payouts they're having for people participating in that tournament. And it's like salt in an open wound compared to like what Liga MX teams are making in League's Cup. So yeah, we have quite a bit to go over tonight. But yeah, do you want to start with like the Tata comments? Because I think that's pretty hot. In the last couple of days, we've had
Yeah, that would be good.
yeah, we've had players speak out against Tata. You had Chucky Lozano, who went on with I think David Faikeson, saying that he felt like he had a great World Cup, but he felt like the team was not gelling. That Tata Martino was treating them like little kids. That they didn't really have much flexibility. That they were under a strict regimen, and that it didn't really like rub off well on the rest of the team. And basically, like the culture was broken. So I don't know if you have anything to say about that. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I do feel like Tata did say it himself. He wanted to leave. He seemed frustrated. I do think that's where FMF, where they made the mistake in holding on to someone that didn't want to be there anymore. Maybe lost confidence in themselves or in the team. But hold on, I'll be back.
Yeah, yeah. He had a lot of negative things to say about Tata Martino. Um, and how the team was just under very strict scheduling, and that the culture in Mexico is a little bit different. They're used to being around their families. They're not used to being isolated for so long. And I don't know, FC Gorditos, what do you got for me?
I feel like the Sharks can smell the blood in the water, and I don't think I think there's going to be more players coming out saying more negative things about Tata Martino. I don't know. What do you think of the whole Edson saying I was on the plane getting ready to go to Chelsea and then I got stopped? Hey, you're going to Ajax. Do you think he catered to Tata and saying, hey, I'm going to go to Ajax instead of going to Chelsea? Or it's just Tata made the decision for him saying, hey, Ajax is, I like their style. Let go there. What do you think, Jaime?
Oh, so yeah, there's a lot that Edson said. I haven't seen the whole interview, but it was kind of like two things. Number one, that he mentioned he had a really good relationship with Tata Martino, that he would they would talk because Tata was interested in Ajax's style of play. He wanted to know more of the tactic side of things because Edson was at Ajax, and he just wanted to know a little bit more about that. So they would, after training and stuff, they would talk. So he felt like, he had a lot of confidence in Edson Alvarez, and that he did play against Poland, but then was completely erased from the team against Argentina, was not a starter, was on the bench, didn't even get any playing times against Argentina. And this was your guy. And he said that he acted very strange leading up to that game. Like it was all of a sudden they were strangers. And Edson arguably was the most defensive, the best defensive option for, I understand that they went in a completely different lineup for that game. They played with 5 in the back. They went super, super defending. And you're not even going to put Edson in there? Like, it didn't make any sense. And it continues to fuel. It doesn't help Tata's case, where everyone's saying that he probably threw that game against Argentina.
Agreed, Jaime. Agreed. But I think FMF, at the end of the day, is more to blame. The people that were in charge, they made the call to keep him. We look at Croatia. They changed, 3 months before the World Cup? They did their switch. And it's like, ideally, you don't want that, but it wasn't over results. It was over the coach saying, I don't want to be here.
And Tata had resigned twice, and they didn't accept it. He did not want to be there.
Yeah, and so for all the faults and maybe all the bad things he might have done, it's still gonna land. It's gonna land with the Federación for allowing it, for sticking with him. There was Guardado and a couple of those guys that were in charge, and they made the wrong call. I don't think it was on purpose. They probably felt he could turn things around, but in retrospect, it's very, very. It was the wrong call to make. I don't know if they talked to the players, brought them in.
Yes. Why do you think? Why do you think they made that decision? Is there money involved in this? Is there money involved in this?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's more to do with we brought this dude because it's like on paper that was what Federación had been asking for years. They wanted like a coach with a high profile. This guy had, coached national teams, coach World Cup, coach Barcelona, coach the Messi. So it's sort of what they've been asking for.
They wanted that Marcelo Bielsa teaching style, right? Coaching style, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. Because they've been able to go after Bielsa, and then they've never really gone after him. And hearing a lot of the former people talking with La Volpe's podcast, La Volpismo. I really recommend that podcast if you guys get a chance. It's on YouTube. He's talked to some dudes, and they all talk about like every time a directivo comes in, they're just starting from scratch. So whatever they had achieved, it's like it just gets lost, and then someone else comes in and starts working all over again. So I don't. I know it's like Jesus Martinez and a group have always wanted to have Bielsa come in, but then there's like another sector that just didn't care for that. I
I
just think
see.
it was more of a. I think it goes more to with the branding of a selección. Of like having these big names attached to the national team, giving it more like international recognition. Because now, if people are talking about Mexico selección, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, this guy was former Barcelona, former Argentina," and it's like kind of that kind of that swag. I think that's what they're more where their mind was more at.
But isn't Mexico already recognized, or even before that, weren't Mexico always recognized as a World Cup? Um, how would I put it? Like compiten, right? Like they're really good in como
No,
desde el
no, because
98 lleva como
yeah,
desde el
but it's
98 they've always been getting to the guess quarter no not quarters, right? It's
Round of
octavos.
16. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're not
Well,
say octavos, right? Yeah.
top,
They
they, yeah, top 15, top 13 team, and it doesn't sound like much until you look at FIFA. It's like 260 teams, and so when you look at it from there, it's like, hey, that's not bad. But the World
it's
Cup's
not
every 4 years. It's every 4 years that the average fan forgets. And if you don't have those big name players, like when there was Marquez at Barcelona, sort of like there's not much talk. But I'm saying like internationally, I don't think Mex needs any of that though. Just between their fans and in Mex in the US, they don't really need like
the European
um
recognition.
no, none of that, dude. They're one of the teams that generates the most money. They even seen the fans are, I think, top three or top five of like the majority of fans at the World Cup, and I think it's maybe the last three cups in a row.
Yeah. Um, there was another part to the question FC Gorditos mentioned about the move to Chelsea from Edson Alvarez. So he said that he was ready to go. He was on the plane, and that Ajax at the last minute said, "You know what? You're actually not going to Chelsea." And he said that was very frustrating. But he ended up going to West Ham United, which, in my opinion, was a much better move for him. They were trying to replace Declan Rice, who went to Arsenal. And, they're actually above Chelsea right now in the EPL. So, in the end, I think I'm glad he didn't go to Chelsea because Chelsea buys a lot of players and
Yeah,
not like, I mean, they saw Ulises Davila went there. Like, I just think like West Ham is a much better project, and there's a
he would
reason
have been
why.
a Tigres.
Yeah,
He would have been a Tigres right now.
and there's a rumor that he might go to Bayern Munich. So I mean, yeah, I think he's in a good spot over at West Ham. But
He's he's getting playing time. That's what really matters, right?
yeah, and he's also gotten the nod
Yeah, I
from
would
from
say.
Moyes, who said, "Hey, we didn't think we
I
were going to
like
be
this
able
guy.
to fill that gap with Declan Rice," and he came in and he's been great. So yeah, I think losing to Chelsea is not the worst thing in the world. I think it could have been, you know, I think in the end it was a better move, but I don't think Tata Martino had anything to do with that transfer.
No, yeah, yeah, like you said, he said it was the club that told him, and it could have been anything on the contract where they might have saw something on the fine print and said hell to the no. Remember with the whole fiasco with the goalkeeper from Man United, De Gea,
De
De
Gea,
Gea?
when he was going, yeah, when he was going to Real Madrid,
No, es que no
and they
llegó
were
el
like,
fax. That's what happened.
yeah,
and
uh,
sometimes it's things like that, man. It's just
uh,
maybe someone fucked up, and it's like, oh shit, I didn't read the fine print, or I didn't notice this. Abort.
Yeah. So one thing that again has been coming up because the couple of days before the Nations League, like it's a media day, so they have access to these players and the coaches. So a lot of this stuff is just coming out now, dude. But I guess Guardado was also saying that like someone needs to talk to Ochoa about stepping down. And I'm like, bro, like,
Damn.
why don't you? I'm sure you have his number. Like, you could. What's stopping you from telling him to step down? Like, why you got to put it on blast like that?
He's gonna be in what was that podcast? Club Shay Shay, where the he's gonna,
Shannon Sharp.
where, where Cat Williams was just throwing tea on everyone or spilling it. That's gonna be Guardado. That's fucked up, man. Considering he still went to the World Cup, he didn't exactly step down himself. I think there's that jealousy of that. Guardado's gonna hit that sixth World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, right? Like, he's probably will hit a sixth World Cup, and whose fault is it? Really, it's not his fault. He's out there doing everything he can. He's in Europe.
Yeah,
No other goalie is taking the risks that he's taking right now. So,
but why should I say that's his fault? More like he's hustled for that.
no, I'm just saying, like it's
Oh, yeah.
it's everybody else's fault to allow him for a sixth World Cup. Like, it's not his fault. He's doing everything.
That guarantees him he's gonna have that like FIFA money where he'll get invited to events, and they're just like because they do that for like all these tournaments where they'll invite former players or whatever.
He's gonna get the Jorge Campos treatment. Is that what you're saying?
Even better, dude. And imagine they invite you to a World Cup and then you're just hanging out, just shaking hands. But even if they don't pay a lot, then I'm pretty sure they're flying you first class.
Of course.
You have everything, man, and sponsors. Like you could even get sponsors. Like Pelé, right? Pelé was doing MasterCard all the way up until he was 80. All he did to spray. That's gonna be. And I know it sounds like a joke, but that's gonna be Ochoa, dude. He's gonna be like El Seis Copas, and he's gonna be doing some commercial, dude. Fucking Bancomer at fucking age 70.
Yeah, he's gonna be Allstate's poster. Allstate, right? He was sponsored. Yeah, he's the guy.
Life insurance. Some life insurance.
He's like, I can protect you guys because I have hands, and I have reliability because I've been to 6 World Cups. Who else can say that?
You just you just made the commercial right there, Jaime.
Yeah. Yeah, this episode is sponsored by Allstate, Yeah, so I think it's very interesting that all this stuff's coming out. I just think, like, what's a Guardado doing talking to the press? But like, he should just pull him aside and talk to him in person and be like, hey, man, I think you should step down. But also, who the fuck is he to say anything? It's your career, dude. You make your choices. He decided to retire from the national team. I don't know if he felt like others would fall suit, but hey, man, at the end of the day, this is your professional career, and who's going to tell you to stop doing it, especially when it's like guaranteed. Like, I don't like, that's why I can't blame Ochoa for what he's doing, bro. Like, who's to tell him he can't go for a 6th World Cup? There's no one else stepping up.
Hey, his number one hater, Alvaro Morales, doesn't want it.
Wait, didn't Guardado go to León and no one's talking about him?
That's because
he's injured, bro. That's why.
I don't think he's playing. He's not even playing. The wrong team.
I think he's pulling a Landon Donovan right now.
I think Landon Donovan has done more for León than he has. But hey, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I tried playing yesterday and I sprained my ankle, bro. It's just you gotta
give out.
You gotta know when to let it go, man. And a true story, I have a pair of like really nice boots that I bought, and I hung them up on my wall, dude. I'm like, that's it, bro. I'm retired, dude. Like,
oh, come on,
I'm serious, dude. They're hanging on my wall. I'm dead ass right now.
Where did you take those shoes that only have like 6 cleats?
No, I took
and
my
you were
trusty.
playing in.
I took my
VR
trusty
indoor shoes.
Copa Mundiales, man. The Copa
Uh,
Mundiales, because they don't
oh
even
yeah,
make
Is
kangaroo.
it?
They don't even make kangaroo leather shoes anymore. Those got like,
it's illegal, bro.
well,
Oh shit!
kangaroos are
No, I'm
considered
serious. It's
a.
illegal to buy kangaroo leather
And,
or sell kangaroo
and,
leather.
They're considered
and
a
has
pest.
soccer shoes from endangered
No,
kangaroo.
they're considered a pest in Australia. Like they cull them because it's like it's a problem. So they used to make boots out of kangaroo leather, and I guess now it's been outlawed, unfortunately. Yeah.
I still got a pair
Shit!
of kangaroo leather. Copa.
Damn.
Yes, sir, dude.
Dude, yeah, taking care of those puppies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those were dope. I remember. I remember seeing like when I would go play. Just the regular the Sunday pub league, and these guys
La-
would buy. They would buy the cleats, the fancy ones, and they would have like six cleats. They was the ones that you couldn't screw. But
Yes.
then they would play like in the fucked up fields, like those are for like when it's
Soft
like
ground.
straight grass. Yeah, not with potholes and everything. So these guys would be halftime already, all like twisted ankles and
Yeah,
just
dude.
injuring themselves.
Those are meant for like wet fields, wet conditions, soft grass, but not on the freaking rough ass fields that we be playing on, dude.
no los campos llaneros, bro.
But yeah, so I think it's interesting that all of a sudden we have this agenda against Tata. I'm loving it. I think we should hear more of it, and it's also coincidental because they're playing. Inter Miami is going to play against Rayados in the Leagues Cup, or not the Leagues Cup, the Concacaf Champions Cup. So,
You know what?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say now I see what's going on. They're trying to psych out Tata Martino because they want Monterrey and Liga MX to take this puppy.
I think it's like
Boom.
it's
Could happen,
how you
man.
get
I
people to
wouldn't pass.
it's how you get people to tune into the match, because if you get all this drama going on, like, hey, you know what? Fuck Tata. All my friends hate Tata, and then, you go into this match, and all of a sudden, everyone's going to want to see what happens against Rayados
Yeah.
and Inter.
Jaime,
Exactly.
do you have the other quote from Guardado on Mexico shouldn't play the U.S.?
I let me see if I can find it, but yeah, he did make that remark, right?
We
About
shouldn't play the
Yeah.
U.S. national team, or we shouldn't play U.S. MLS
It's
teams.
kind of vague.
no,
It was
it
kind of
was
vague.
he was saying
Play the
how.
U.S.
Let me see. What did he say? He said, Estados Unidos nos ha estado usando para mejorar su fútbol. Una vez que nos superen, dirán, ya no necesito a México.
Yeah. So is he talking about the national team?
He's talking
And-
about the
and-
national
well,
team. Yeah,
But that's dumb. Like I wanted to give my 2 cents on that. It just doesn't make sense. Like, is he talking about like? I'm guessing in general, because if he's just talking the national team, it's not like Mexico's playing the U.S. 5 times a year. Like they come here to scrimmage to them, and that's a good matchup for the U.S. Because I mean, I would like to see that like Mexico playing Brazil 5 times a year. And then I could say, yeah, Mexico's getting better. They keep going against Brazil, but they play once a year at most, dude. And
I think that he was just saying that, we have catered to the U.S. needs. Like every game that we have a window for international, it's here in the United States. And then
Well,
also like helping them set up the Leagues Cup. Like everything that Mexico, like the national team and the league, they've done everything to cater to the audience here in the United States. And like, what are we getting out of this outside of money? Like,
a lot of money.
but
A lot.
but it's devaluating, like, I don't
I don't
know.
think, look, if so, for example, if any Mexican team wants to play in the U.S., they need permission from USSF, and so once they give it to them, they take a cut from the gate. So we're not going to see Mex teams say we don't want to help the U.S. grow, so we're not going to play in the U.S. anymore because they're getting money. because Mexico's getting way more money. They're getting a lot of money too. I could even say the opposite of they let Mex teams play so much, it hurts them. Because how are you selling your league? You know, if some kid gets to go watch Chivas America Clásico, how much more likely is he to want to go see Galaxy Earthquakes game? And do you know what I mean?
I think the argument is we have a very limited amount of windows to play friendlies.
But
And
that's nothing to do with US, Jaime. Like
well, because
Yeah, it does because the
we have a
MLS plays
contract with
during those
some.
times.
We have a contract with Soccer United Marketing, so
yeah, but that doesn't.
we are
But,
obligated to play all of our friendlies in the United States, where we could be getting out of our comfort zone and playing against teams out of our region in their
yeah,
homes. Like we could be playing
but
in Spain and in Germany and France and Italy. Those are the type of people we need to be playing against.
you still can because
You can't because you have a contract that says you have to play X amount of
no
games per
you do
year.
have a contract. So what's his name? He was at Chivas, then he went to Galaxy, and then he went to it's a Dutch guy. ¿Cómo se llama?
De Close?
Yes, Dennis de Close. He was with the Mexico national team, and he got games in Europe against European teams. So they had nothing to do with some. He picked up the phone, he scheduled the games, and he got some pretty good games in Europe. So it's just kind of falls
Was it the
into
Belgium Germany games? He was the one that was responsible for those, right?
yeah,
And they were really
correct.
good games.
They were great games.
Exactly.
And when's the last time we've done that?
Well, but see, that's nothing to do with some, or that's the Federación or whoever they have in charge. They just don't care for that. And this dude said, I just picked up the phone and called the Federación. There's an interview where he just says that he's like, how'd you get those games? I just gave him a call. Look, it's that easy, man. And then you just have to like just find the calendar, you know, when there's an opening. But I just think that that's more of a federación issue of the people in charge not just not knowing how to do things or not knowing how to improve or make the most of it. Like if you had that guy do games, it's not like you can't hit that guy up and be like, get us more games.
Señor,
You know?
la cosa no es de que están pendejos, las cosas que quieren más
Que
lana.
se hacen.
Hey.
That does make sense right there, Mia Diaz. That would be the most likely thing. But see, even then at that point, you can't blame here some. It's FMF at the end of the day, and even if there wasn't some, they were still going to be playing as many games as they could in the U.S. just because of how much money they're making.
For sure. Speaking about chump change, you know, they Libertadores posted like the total cup winnings for teams participating in Libertadores, and it's a substantial amount of money. Lots of millions of dollars just by being in it, getting out of the group stage. And I know we talked about it before, like how was it Jesus Martinez mentioned that like League's Cup is not there's no money in it.
No, they're not making money.
Yeah.
It's a bet for the future. Now, one of the really interesting things about the Conmebol prize money is that Conmebol just recently sold, and when I say recently, within the last couple months, they sold their TV rights to Paramount for international distribution. That's where they're getting most of their money coming from now.
Oh.
As well as them having what was it? They sold their advertising rights from 2023 until 2026 already.
Damn.
That's why there hasn't been a push as for like Mexican clubs to get in, because the the advertising rights, the TV rights, everything has been sold already, and it will not be reopened until after 2026.
That's when we're gonna make a push for it, right?
That's exactly what we're going to make a push for
Supposed
it.
push, because we're not even sure if we are gonna make that push.
Well, and also like looking at the prize money, and nothing against it, but it looks a lot, but it's like divided. So say like 10 million, but that's between like the 8 teams. So it's
I don't know about that, bro. I think it's per team, dude.
Yeah, it clearly says it. It's per team.
I mean, I need another
It
calendar
says
at
Copa
that list.
Libertadores awards a team $6 million just by playing the group stage. That's the same amount of money that the Concacaf Champions Cup receives.
Okay, 6 million. So that's the group
winner, right?
Winner.
So you're playing what, six games? How many games are in the group stage of 4?
They're basically making
6, I think.
Huh?
They're making about 400 to 500,000 a game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not bad, but I'm just saying, the mixed teams, they do a molero and they make like twice as much.
The winner gets 23 million, dude. That's a lot, dude.
Yeah, but it's only one winner, dude. So it's
still, dude. It's still a lot of money. I'm just saying, like that's a lot of money. And
I know
you would think that the way the national team and the FMF make their decisions is money based. You would think they'd be all over this.
Well, because the teams that can afford to go compete for that's not a lot of money for Tigres or Cruz Azul or America. It's just not. If you're Cholos though, or Juarez.
I don't see a Juarez or a Tijuana ever. Come on.
You never know, man. We had this is when it got me sad, dude. And it was, what was that Peruvian team? Cienciano, was it? And they won the Libertadores. But the Mexican team was competing.
Oh.
Let me see, man. I gotta ask the internet. So I think it was them, and then I think Olimpia Paraguay, outside of like the regular winners.
The Brazilians, the Sao Paulos, before they...
And the Argentines, yeah.
Yeah, before they were descended.
And I was like, dude, there could have been any of the Mexican teams competing, I think, against the Peruvians, but it was just...
We have Habibi joining us. What a great time to bring up another comment from the media day. This one's about Henry Martin, who mentioned that he was approached and had the opportunity to join Chivas on 3 separate occasions.
3 times.
Yeah, he said the first time was when he was at Tijuana, and I forgot what happened the first time. I think
he broke his leg or something with his leg.
He got injured. That's right. And then the second time it was between Chivas and America, and I think Piojo won him over. So
you're right.
Yeah, and then the third time was when he was not having a good time at America. He had not gotten the fan support. He hadn't been performing the best, and he felt like at that time he was looking for an option. And also their own management was suggesting a move because they wanted him to go to the World Cup. And the way things were going is he probably wasn't going to make the roster. So at that time, that's when Peláez approached him and said, hey, we want you at Chivas. We're ready to go, but we're going to ask you to take a pay cut. And Henry Martin said, absolutely not. I've worked so hard to get here, and this is what I'm worth, and I'm not going to take a reduced salary. And that halted the negotiations. And Henry said that he was considering it, but then Roger Martinez got injured, and then that's when the negotiations went, they stopped. So
they halted.
Yeah, 3 times that Chivas had a chance to get Henry Martin. I don't know how you feel about that, Habibi. He's on mute. But, I mean, feel free to speak up, anybody. I want to know what you guys think about that.
No, not surprising. We've always heard Chivas going after Henry Martin. They've always been a target.
I just think it's interesting because, like, how many of these deals have happened that I wonder how many more players have Chivas lost.
Peralta was similar case.
Oribe
Peralta. But when he was at his peak, though, that was when it was at Santos, right? We were
way before his peak.
It was when
he came to Chivas for Libertadores.
For Libertadores, he was at Rayados at the time, I think. Yeah. Yeah, we brought him in on loan during Copa Libertadores, but he never really got too much. I don't even think he made an appearance, honestly. So we had an option to buy him then, and then he went to Santos, and when he was lighting things up, that's when it was between Chivas and America, and he chose America because I think they offered 1 million more. So, yeah. It's just interesting how things happen, but with the case of Henry Martin, I think he was a great striker at Tijuana, and I think we definitely missed the ball by not signing him. We needed a striker at the time, and then the other time when he was at America, like it would have been a good pickup for us. So yeah, dude, and also by buying him, it also removes him as a threat because how many goals has he scored against Chivas? I feel he scored a lot.
Why are you opening those wounds, Jaime? There's no need for that.
Real quick, gonna go to the YouTube chat. Disco Fever says, Joel getting that some check first thing tomorrow via FedEx.
I hope, dude. And I actually have worked. I have worked for some.
But there it is. There it is.
I didn't get paid.
Disco Fever on the nose, man.
No me pagaron, dude. No. It's the first Interliga. It's the first Interliga, and I wrote the English content for their webpage.
So you work for some, man. That's why you're like, nah.
I was going to get offered a job, and I don't know. Shit happened. Like,
I would say Disco Fever hit it right on the hammer, man. Because everything Joel said was a bunch of lies. He said for the bigger teams, it's not that much money. Monterrey from TUDN, they get 28 million a year for their TV rights.
God damn.
So you're telling me that 23 million
they don't rely on that. They
winning the tournament like within 6 months is not a lot?
No, man. Because see, you're looking at it like from the
TV
club
rights for the whole year. Or 28 million. Amazon is offering Chivas 20 million TV rights the whole year.
All right, but who runs Monterrey?
FEMSA, no? Or is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, in the world, dude. They're in the billions, buddy, man. They don't need.
We're talking about the club, the revenue for the
That's
club,
why.
not the owner. There's two separate things.
Those guys they're running the club for the next 30 years. They could lose money for 30 years. They're not even gonna feel it.
No, the club. We're talking about the club, not
that's
the
why
owner's
the club,
private pockets.
Yes, but that's where the money comes from.
Sí, that might be where the money comes from, but that doesn't mean que el presupuesto del club es el mismo que el de FEMSA. Like, no,
ya sé, pero FEMSA lo pone, so it's like...
Lo pone, güey, pero también, güey. Mira, yo estoy dispuesto de pagar la peda.
We need 500 million for Monterrey Football Club. Can you give it to us? Obviously, they're going to say no.
You don't know that, man.
Joel.
We don't know that. None of us know that.
You're sneezing. You could win Leagues Cup, Concacaf, U.S. Open Cup, whatever the hell you want, and none of them even come close to the price pool of Libertadores. So you can't call it chump change. If that is chump change, then why the hell are they playing Leagues Cup? Why are they playing CONCACAF Cup? Because then that's
because they have to. They're doing it because they have to. Some of these teams will be happy just playing Liguilla.
I will tell you, the players though do care, man. I mean, I brought up
the players do care. That is.
I brought up Alexis
thing,
Vega, talking about the interview he had and how he got paid fat for those games that he participated in Libertadores for. So I mean, it makes a difference, dude.
And it's not just that; it's also the prestige. Even fucking Andrea Pierre Gignac has been saying it, is like, I would love to play Libertadores. Like, that's one of the reasons why he came to Mexico, because he wanted to play Libertadores.
And he did.
And then we got out.
Yeah.
There's an ex-ESPN reportero that said that every small club wants to go to Libertadores because that Libertadores money, even if it's a group stage money, helps out the club to pay for some of the expenses.
And it's also a showcase for their talent. And so, like, they're scouting some Brazilian, and your team's going hard on them, and one of your players shines that day.
The Uruguayan players, that's their showcase.
Oh, yeah,
how they get them out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, because their league is pretty ass. I mean, no offense to the Uruguayos, but
we have Isa Tirita joining us on YouTube. He said, "Hey, what's up, guys?" Shout out to Isa. And then Disco Fever says, "I knew he was an undercover American outlaw."
No, tampoco.
Oh man, I love it. I love the energy, guys. Keep sending it this way.
Como que no, güey? Te van a hacer dots, vas a ver.
They're saying Joel uses the Mexican shirt on top and then that American Outlaws in the bottom. Cada vez que anotaba USA, ahí está, se quitaba la shirt de Mexico. Oh.
It's like that.
Like that little kid that has the jersey and then the headband.
No, the guy has an American Outlaws tanga. That's all.
Oh, snap.
You know what? Hold on. I'll give you one worse. When he used to write for them, he used to wear his, like, half Mexico, half U.S. jersey that he got from the Yankees.
It was all Mexican soccer. It was for Interligas. It was for Libertadores qualifiers, which was they had, because you guys remember it was pre Libertadores.
Yeah.
They had like all those rounds that you had to go through, and then they ultimately did the tourney in the U.S., which was pretty fun. Which was Interliga, so it was just Mexican teams.
I remember going to one of the Interliga finals. Well, games. I'm going to say games because it was the America Cruz Azul 2006, I think.
I was there. It was at the Home Depot.
Dude, yeah, exactly. That game was intense.
We were there. Can you believe it? We were both.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an intense match. It was. I that day, because the press box at the Home Depot is really small. It's all crowded. And I didn't even have a seat. I was standing by the door going in, and Faitelson came in just to look, and he's watching the game. And he's fucking tall, dude. Not gonna lie, bro. I choked. He asked me something, and I couldn't.
Wait, who?
I couldn't talk.
Wait, you were starstruck?
Who?
You were starstruck.
I don't know if it was. I don't think it was starstruck. He was just like.
Wait, who? Who was it?
David Faitelson.
Oh,
yeah,
Faitelson. Was it back when he was fat?
I don't know. That dude was huge, man. He's like 6'3" or something, man. He's fucking tall.
That's crazy.
Not really short.
You should have punched him in the face. Yeah,
this other dude. I don't know. It was just one of those days because there was this radio guy.
Was that after he got punched in the face?
I don't remember. Dude was so sick. Because he said something like there should have been a penalty on Cruz Azul, and I was like, "Are you an America fan?" But then nothing came out, dude.
No, that time he was an America hater, bro.
No, güey. Sí salieron palabras. Las palabras que salieron fue, ¿te la mamo?
Nah, because I've never been like a Faitelson fan. There was this dude, I don't know if you guys remember, he used to do radio. I don't know if he still does radio in LA, 1330. He's a Guatemalan dude. He does a lot of play-by-play.
I don't know,
Do you
dude.
guys remember his name?
No. Are you talking about the Jorge Ramos? But he's from Uruguay.
Nah, he's Uruguayo. He's Uruguayo. This guy's Guatemalan.
I don't know, dude.
Was he in ESPN?
I don't think so. He's always
at the
just
morning
done.
show?
Yeah, it was a morning show.
Not sure. But guys, I can tell you what Juan's wearing now. He's wearing the Manscaped Boxers 2.0.
I am. That is true.
Soft and supportive, cool under pressure, and they're as smooth as eggs. So just wanted to give a quick plug to Manscaped, our sponsor tonight. But yeah, dude, I think that those Libertadores games were iconic, and we need to find some way to get back in. I did want to talk about this because it's been bothering me ever since I seen the tweet. Lamar Jackson, he's a professional quarterback, and he said, just sitting here thinking I could have been on some Leon Messi or Kylian Mbappe type shit. You know, basically alluring to the fact that had he chosen soccer, he would have been one of the best players in the world, and I can't stand for that shit, bro, because that's what everyone says here in America. It's like, oh, if all of our best athletes played soccer, we'd be world champions by now. So it caused some good controversy in the chat, but I wanted to bring it up because you guys be crazy on the keyboards, and then when it comes to talk about it, you guys are crickets, dude. So I want to hear it.
Okay, first of all, I'll say that you need to learn how to take shit with a grain of salt. Obviously, he wasn't being 100% serious. Just obviously, he's just saying he'd be a great player. Whether that's true or not, who knows? But one thing I do know, growing up with athletes, like naturally good athletes, like I wouldn't say elite level athletes, but athletes that play like Division 1, that got like U.S. youth team national call ups, things like that. I was always under the impression, wow, these guys are like really good soccer players. And then you go like snowboarding with them, water skiing with them, baseball with them, whatever. And some of them are just so naturally good at everything they do. Everything. You can teach soccer skills and the player can learn it to a certain degree, but you cannot teach natural athletic ability, especially if it's at a level where it's a professional player, where they're just elite. They're not college level, they're not MLS level, like they're just elite. Like you can't teach that shit. So if the US is not tapping its best athletes, it's not saying they'd be world champions, but they definitely would have a better pool.
So then let me ask you this question, right? So you're saying that the current crop of players that are on the national team for the United States are not the best players that exist in the United States?
Obviously, they're the best players that exist in the U.S. because that's what is known. What I'm saying is that the possibilities of the talent pool being greater if the U.S. was a soccer country and its best athletes chose the sport, it points in the direction that, yeah, they would have a much better talent pool.
So then what are you saying that they, like, what would you classify the ones that they have now?
Good players. I mean, they got players playing in Europe. They're good players.
Look,
no one's saying they need bigger, faster, stronger. It's just saying that it's not a soccer country. So, for example, the kicker from the Cowboys, when he didn't make it pro, like he didn't make it pro for MLS or whatever, but an MLS rookie contract is $60,000. He just signed like a $7 million contract with the Cowboys as a kicker. And he didn't even make MLS. And if he would have made MLS, he would have signed on the $60,000 contract.
So I don't understand your point, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what
the point is there that why would your best athletes choose a $60,000 contract when they can dedicate themselves even as something as a kicker and make?
Don't you contradict yourself, though, saying that good athlete couldn't hack it in soccer?
Yeah, you just said he wasn't. You just said he wasn't good enough for the MLS, but he's good enough for the NFL. So
he's the NFL, but now he's telling us that NFL guy would be good for.
No, but what I'm telling you is that players with that, if you have the option, if it's just a monetary thing, and you're naturally good at both, why would you go for the rookie contract of 60,000?
It does the whole thing. Naturally, both are good. Like, there really hasn't been a way to see that.
Because most guys don't choose soccer, but you see it all
But
the
even
time.
then,
Players, they choose between NFL or NBA or MLB and
yeah, but
NFL.
I'm sorry, I do not see LeBron James playing soccer, even if he had picked it from the beginning.
Yeah, it's a whole, like, the athletic type. I get it, but then also with soccer, there's more to that than just having that natural ability. Like, you still have to have that, like, mind of, like, you know,
Yeah, wait,
just the
pero
passing and all,
también,
reading
you're
the
not
game and all
fucking
that.
born knowing football. You
How
don't
many-
know the tactics.
How many
of us
players?
learned it in school playing and having a coach who actually taught us these things?
How many players
Like-
playing soccer are 6'9", dude? I mean, come on, dude. Like these, like, I get it. Like, these guys look great. They're athletic. They're huge. That doesn't necessarily mean that they would have been great soccer players. Like, it's not the right physicality and the right build for that sport. Maybe they would have been maybe a good goalkeeper, but I don't know, dude. Like, I don't believe that argument.
Okay.
So you mean to tell me that the Germans aren't a
said-
powerhouse because of that? Ese biotipo que tienen, how big they are, how tall they are, the reason why we can never play up in the air against them. Like, no mames, güey. También, now here, hold on. Here's the other argument. Yes, in the U.S. national team, yes, those are the best players that they have, but they are not the best athletes that the U.S. has. The U.S. sends its best athletes into the NFL, the NBA, and at a lower level, the MLB. And the reason why I say a lower level, the MLB, is because, let's be honest, those are all Puerto Ricans in there.
Yeah, but just because you're naturally athletic, like you're a Usain Bolt, they had, I think Usain Bolt tried out at Manchester United, and he didn't make the cut, dude. It's like, it doesn't just take crazy speed to be good at soccer.
Yeah.
But no mames, dude. Listen to what you just said. You literally said Usain Bolt did not make Manchester United's team. Obviously, he didn't because he didn't grow up with that development.
Dude, he played
of only being
soccer.
focused on soccer.
He grew up in Jamaica. What do you think that's their national sport, dude? What are you talking about?
Okay, yeah. So how many Jamaicans that focus just on soccer go and play for Manchester United?
That's a perfect example. Jamaica has like the best specimen for athletics, and soccer is their national one sport. And
do they have the soccer?
They're not a powerhouse.
The development.
Why aren't they that? Why aren't they a powerhouse?
Do they have the development for soccer?
Dude,
okay.
why hasn't an African team won the World Cup yet?
And then turn 25
because all the Europeans take their players, dude.
Ding 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 ding.
No, I Jamaica.
Dude, Africa has. That's where all the great athletes come from. They haven't won shit in the World Cup.
France was mostly like African players.
And listen to what you're saying. Clearly, the first thing I said is no one's talking about the U.S. being world champs. I said they would have a better talent pool.
I don't believe it.
You're reaching way too far. It's a fact.
All right.
That
you make soccer the #1 sport in America tomorrow, and you use all your resources to make it accessible to everyone. I honestly still think it will not be like, they will not produce an Mbappe. They will not produce a Messi, because that's the type of shit that Lamar Jackson said. And that was my whole argument, is like, no, you're not going to produce a player like that in the States. Even if you were to dedicate the next 10 years to growing the sport, it's not going to happen. You've been doing it for the last 20 years, and the best you have is Pulisic. That's all you got.
Because
now the other thing
system,
is, that's exactly it, my boy Danny. That's exactly it. You have to break down those barriers.
Team, selling season tickets, and I got so many calls of people wanting to try out that I'd be like, "Hey, sorry, we don't do that. You have to like pay to try out. Like, we don't have any free tryouts."
Pay to play, Habibi. Pay to play. Remember,
if we open it up to like everyone in the U.S., we would have of course, a giant pool of better players. Essentially, the players that we have now in the U.S. are all people who can afford it. Like, soccer is for the rich, dude, not for the poor.
Clint Dempsey wasn't rich. He came from a rough background.
Yeah,
Look, I'll
and Glenn
give you an
Dempsey's like the
example.
exception to that rule.
The
He's the
U.S.
1%.
I don't remember the name of the player, but the U.S. national team has one guy who's based out of Seattle. And they say that he's based out of Seattle to not say where he's really out of. He's out of Mercer Island, which is where all of the billionaires in Seattle live. He's the only one who was able to crack it from that area and make it to that level. Why? Because of the pay-to-play system.
What about Pepe? That guy's he's not rich. He doesn't come from a rich
He comes
background.
from a soccer background, though. His dad played.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
He has the connections, though.
Yeah,
You know, if you have the connections, you get to play as well.
I got a kid on the FC Dallas team because the guy who's in charge of the youth teams was from the same town as his dad. Literally sent him an email. When can we come over? We showed up. He got invited to walk onto the academy, try out with them, and then he was there all summer.
you can argue it's the same system in Mexico, so I don't understand it.
That's exactly it. It is the same system in Mexico. That's why we don't have the development that we have. In fact,
you don't hear us making up this excuse about if our best.
Yeah, you do.
No, dude.
Yeah, you fucking do all the time when there's the conversation about like, hey, what's the generational change? Hey, what's happening? Is like
all the time say, en el llano hay mejores jugadores que los hijos de papi que del fútbol mexicano. They say that shit all the time.
All I'm saying is we're not over here saying, we would have a Messi by now if it wasn't for the circumstance. Like, no, dude, like I don't know.
I just think no estás escuchando bien, güey.
I think it's a stupid argument. I think it's just like
Mexicans in Mexico it is now. It is now. You could say maybe going back to 70s, 80s that there's probably some truth to that. But these teams, all of the Liga MX teams started scouting aggressively and going all over Mexico, even to places where weren't really known for soccer. You had like Atlas, for example, scouting in Sinaloa, finding Borghetti. Toluca got Carmona from Guadalajara. You already had like 4 clubs there, and Toluca went and swiped him. If you listen to the story of how Carlos Salcido got scouted, he was old. He says it himself. He was up in age, like past the age of the youth gets scouted. And it was like, it was a club that went to play against one of the youth teams. And they saw him there, and Güero saw him and took him to Chivas. It's very similar to Alexis Vega, and he talks about this. This is from the players' mouths, by the way. This is them saying it. You can find the interviews. And Alexis Vega talks about because where he lived in a really poor area. He had even stopped going to go play with the team that he will play. The coach went to his house and said, "Hey, we got a game against Toluca Youth. Come and play with us." And that's how he got taken into the Toluca. They scouted him into the club. So you see a lot of stories like that. A lot of the players that eventually like trophies. Go check where trophies lived, man. When they've shown like where his parents are from.
You're making a case for fucking pay to play in the U.S., right? Because you're saying that these guys came from the slums and the scouting so well that they were found in the slums and they were given a professional chance. How many times do you see U.S. soccer or all these clubs going and scouting in the slums or whatsoever of the U.S.? Those kids in the quote unquote slums of the U.S. They're not even playing soccer. They're playing basketball, they're playing football, they're playing something else. And because it's pay to play, if an academy charges you $900 a month for its players, and then they got 1,000 kids under that club, each paying $900 plus a month, and all their parents are showing up in their Escalades and shit like that, why the hell would they go scout for talent in the slums? Because at the same time, the way the system is set up here, if you're a private academy and you're charging these 1,000 kids $900 a month, once these kids leave and they sign a MLS contract, like homegrown contract. Now they just establish a rule where they kick you back a little money, like a finder's fee. But before this year, the reason why you were charging so much money is because the second that kid leaves to college or he leaves to MLS, you then get nothing like for the formación. But now they just changed that rule where all these feeder clubs are starting to get a little kickback. But I don't see how Salcido, Vega, uh, trophies living in the slums doesn't help the case that is not done here. They have no need to. They
well,
have
first
no
that
need
was,
to.
but this was more to do with Max, with the whole notion of the scouting and hijos de papi, because it's you see a lot of players and coaches contradicting that. There's a lot of interviews out there. You guys can. I mean, I always telling you guys go watch the podcast. Where that's one of the best things about like podcasts and YouTube. Like everyone started having like their own show, and a lot of times these players open up more when they're like on a one-on-one instead of being at a studio with 10 or 5 different hosts. And yeah, they open up and they'll tell you a lot how it is. But I was just saying for Mex, the U.S. is a bit different. You know what they do a lot is they go through through the college. They scout a lot of players through the universities, and so that's also one thing where if you're playing in high school or in a college, to be in a team that is going to be in the high divisions and it's going to play like the state championships. So I think that's always been one of my arguments where I think a lot of Latinos didn't figure it out early on, and they'll be playing in the local rec leagues. And it's like, dude, no one's gonna see you right here. It's just the odds of that happening are very slim to none. Um, so you kind of have to put yourself in that position where you're gonna end up getting observed. Uh, with other teams, I don't know because I've never really like dug into it as far as like is all the tryouts. Do they charge you for tryouts? Because I know they would have some way back. Chivas USA would have like tryouts. I don't think they would charge for tryouts when they would host them. I mean, because again, you want to find talent, so you're kind of hindering yourself if you're charging to see if someone has talent. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. And then that's why everything, the way the system's set up, for example, even you saying the high school, the college, and all that, honestly, if you're
Yeah.
in college soccer, the it's like you haven't made it, like you didn't make it. So I'll give you an example. So St. Louis and MLS, they have so the college draft, and they had the number one pick. But the difference between NFL, NBA, MLB is that the number one pick in the college draft is just a bunch of kids that were never good enough to get professional contracts, at 15, 16, 17 years old. So St. Louis traded their number one pick for like $100,000. Like the college players that qualify for this thing, there's not much expected of them. Most of them are expected, to show up, maybe be there for a year or two, and then like disappear. There's only been very few cases of teams, MLS teams, that have picked players from the college draft that actually want to have like a decent career. And I'm not even talking like national team, none of that. Just like a decent MLS career. So the reason why they don't focus on high school, the reason why they don't focus on college so much is because the good players, they're at the pay academies. They're at those private academies. You already know who's who when they're 12, 11 years old. If you go and look at the U.S. national team call-ups, the majority of them are either play for an MLS academy or some private academy. You're never going to see that plays for a specific high school, plays for a specific college, because those are like the not good ones. It's almost like in Mexico. Like if you play for a college or university or high school and you don't play for fuerzas básicas, you're not good. And that's the
So
biggest
that
difference
was
between soccer here and the other sports. If you're like in the NBA draft, the NFL draft, you're good. Like you're some of the best in the country.
Yeah, well, I'm just going off how they used to be when you used to see like, well, I am going way back, but it was like a lot of the U.S. players were coming out of the colleges and a lot of them going to Europe, so I don't know how much stuff changed with MLS just because I don't follow the leagues here.
Hey, Habibi, I had a question. You know the kickback you were talking about with I mean academies or clubs or whatever getting this little kickback. You think we're gonna see more? I guess more players coming out of these smaller academies because they're getting that
That's,
kickback.
that's been for a long time though, because
No. And he's talking about
when
MLS.
Arsenal,
MLS got the kickback barely last year. I think that's what he said.
No, so like
but
before, like let's say if you open like your own academy, at your
Yeah.
local city, and you had like 100 kids sign up, and like one of them was like really good, and then another academy could come in and take them away from you, and that was it. It was over. Or
Mhm.
like an MLS team could come and take them away from you, and it was over. But now what you're seeing is that they changed it, so now you'll get a kickback. So the MLS team, U.S.
how
soccer
long do
team,
you have to be in that team?
I don't know the
Not
specifics,
just
but
because you played there one
you get
tournament.
like a finder's fee, basically kickback. So yes, what I think that'll happen is a lot more talent is going to start being developed because now it's before it was like, your parents were money printers. I don't know how long you're going to be here, so I'm gonna charge you as much as possible, and the people that
Exactly.
want to pay it because it's a high turnover rate. But now since I'm actually seeing a kickback, I want to focus on training as many good players as possible so I can get as many kickbacks in the future because I don't want guys that let's say I charge them $1,000 a month but then they disappear off the sport like 2 years later.
Exactly.
What about if I get a bunch of guys that not only pay me the 1,000 a month but they actually have potential to go professional and I get kickbacks from all of them?
Yeah, because it seems like with this kickback initiative that we're going to see, or the doors are going to open for those players that couldn't pay to play. You know what I mean? That we're going to get those inner city kids that might be interested in soccer. Because I, I think I've heard a couple of stories where, man, I was really good, but then this academy was charging me like 1,300 a month, and like we don't have that kind of cash. So it seems like it's going to open that gateway for more talent that couldn't play to be able to play.
Yeah, ideally, I mean, I think that's their plan, but I still think like I use the Olympics as an example. I don't think it makes sense. I don't care what Jaime Joel say. I don't think it makes sense that the U.S. goes and plays every sport in the Olympics and they pretty much dominate every sport. Them and China and like Russia, like they're the three countries that are dominating every competition in the Olympics, except soccer. But you're telling me if the U.S. went like full force on soccer, I'm not saying they dominate, but they wouldn't be so much better. They have the population of 300 million, all the resources from, you know, the high school level. Like some of these high schools, like especially like, like for example, like football in Texas, they have better resources than many professional teams around the world have. You're talking about
Yeah.
high schools that have like $10 million, $15 million
For American
training
football, you mean?
complexes.
Training facilities
Yeah,
and
the
locker
training
rooms and all this other
facilities.
stuff.
Like it's just
So
unreal. So if they had the majority of the population bought into soccer, plus all the training facilities and nutrition, everything that comes with it, and the population size, the money, there it'd be impossible for them not to have a better talent pool. And once again, that doesn't mean they be world champions. It doesn't mean they have Messi's and Cristiano Ronaldo's. Not saying any of that. Because one thing I do think they lack is they lack that I don't know what to call it. I guess the street smarts for it. They're too innocent. They're too innocent.
Le falta colmillo.
Yeah, les falta colmillo, and you see a lot in MLS. Like it'll be like a tackle that's like from behind in order to avoid 1-on-1 with a keeper, and then all the fans, he's such a dirty player. He's disgusting. But like Uruguayos and Argentinos, they all plowed it. They're like, yes, you put the club, because if you let him score, the game would have been over. And MLS like, oh, he could have hurt him. That's not fair play. Like, they miss that. They don't have that grittiness, that colmillo, like you said.
Yeah, and that's a good. There's a good example of that of Uruguayan or colmillo. Do you remember that game Real Madrid versus some team I can't remember that Valverde?
Atletico.
Yeah, there you go. He
Valverde.
tackled. Yeah, exactly. He tackled. But he was the last man. He tackled. He got a red card. He had to do it. That's the colmillo that that shows up.
Have you seen MLS defending? It's really bad.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
They
don't have that.
They are the biggest threat to themselves.
No, but the reason they don't have that is because
they don't teach it.
They don't teach it, and you're so limited. So, like, for example, like at the youth level, if you go watch some games, they're not allowed to head the ball because it could be like head injury, brain injury, shit like that.
I heard about that,
bro. You're telling me kids in Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, and they're not heading the ball. Come on now. All that little shit. The defending, same thing. The defending you learn in the streets. You're like 5 years old. You're playing against 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds. Some of them go hella dirty on you. You got to learn how to evade those moves. Like, get out of those situations. Learn the 1v1s. You learn all those things that you don't necessarily learn in the academy. And you hear Argentinian coaches complain about that. Scaloni was complaining about that. He was saying that, before is like you go to the academy and then you go home and then you play at home, you play on the streets. And now, like the academy players, they go to the academy 2-3 times a week, get their 1-2 hours in, and then that's it. Because no one wants to risk getting hurt outside of the academy. But he's saying they're not learning the real essence of the game. So he's saying that even they feel that in Argentina, they're losing like generations, that colmillo that the previous generations had is like so robotic now.
And once again, it comes back to that whole pay to play system, right? Like, hey, if my family is doing financially well enough to where we're shelling out this type of money, I don't have a need to go out there and fucking try to make something out of myself this way. In Latin America, the reason why these things happen is because there is no other way out. Just like in Argentina, in Brazil, it's like, hey, how are you going to make something out of yourself? Because let's be honest, you were born in a lower class. What is your way out? Sports. That's why, and I'm going to say it, within a large majority of the African American community, it is focused on sports. It's what's going to get you out. It's what's going to help you be something much better. And it's not so much focused on education.
Exactly. And who want to push for that when you're knowing that when you get to the top, you have a $60,000 contract waiting for you, a $60,000 rookie contract.
There's been conversations with ex-players where they tell them, oh, hey, and do your kids play soccer? Oh, yeah. It's like, all right, cool. Do you think they're going to make it? And they openly say it. No. ¿Por qué? Porque les falta hambre. No saben el hambre que tienes que tener para poder ser profesional. And as much as you fucking want to hate on it, that is the problem that Vela has himself. No tiene el hambre, no tiene la pasión, no tiene la necesidad.
Yeah, with the U.S., there's a perfect example of Jordan Morris. He's from Seattle. When he was like doing well, some like European teams wanted him.
That's the boy.
All the
he's
U.S.
from Mercer Island.
Oh, he's a Mercer Island kid. Yeah, he turned down like these European offers, and he literally straight up said, "Nah, man, I don't want to be away from my dog. I don't want to be away from my family." And his family comes from money, and like guys like Clint Dempsey and everybody, like they criticize him, like, "What the hell are you staying in MLS for?" He's like, "Man, my family comes from millions. I got no reason to go to Europe. I'm good here."
And how is that not a similar problem that Mexico has? You have players that don't want to go to Europe.
Well, they don't want to go to Europe because of the paycheck they're currently getting, not because of the generational wealth that they have. Did you not hear generational wealth? That is the difference.
Dude, Mexican players don't go to Europe because they're getting paid well in Mexico. So
yeah, for them.
But
it's not like, hey, wait, no me tengo que preocupar. My
sounds like the same problems that the U.S.
are
having. Mexico's having the same problems. So I don't understand what we're over here complaining about or saying that we're at a disadvantage because it's not true. We're at the same level. I just don't think that for the part that pisses me off is the arrogance that comes with being American. Like, oh, we'd be number one if we actually cared about it. Like, fuck you, dude. There's a lot of great countries out there that dedicate their entire life. It is their number one sport, and they haven't won a World Cup. Look at the Netherlands. They've never won a World Cup. It's like, dude, it's not that easy to do. So
okay, so you mean to tell me that
to say, oh, like we're not number one at it because we don't care enough about it, like, dude, that's just fucking ignorance and arrogance, and I can't stand that shit. That's the part that pisses me off.
No, I think what pisses you off is that there's some truth to it, and Guardado. No, there's some truth to it as a Mexico fan. Guardado himself said it in his recent interview. He said Ricardo has said this a million times. The U.S. is using us while they can, and sooner or later they're gonna say, Mexico, we don't need you no more.
So Mexico's that good that the U.S. is gonna get better simply by playing Mexico. That's how good Mexico is. If you're the U.S., wouldn't you rather be? They did call it recently Clásico against Brazil.
And that's what's happening. They, all those dos aceros they build up, beating Mexico in final here, final there. That arrogance. No, listen.
They've been missing World Cups. They've missed a couple World Cups there.
Arrogance.
I think
that arrogance where you're like, we're already better than Mexico. Whether that is true, whether that is not true, that's up for debate. But if you continually get those results and Mexico is not doing anything to stop it, that arrogance kicks in and says, hey, you know what? We're better than Mexico. We got more players in Europe than them. We got more players playing. We're beating them in Leagues Cup. We're beating them in Nations League. We're beating them in Gold Cup. We're beating them in MLS All-Stars. Bullshit. Every little bullshit you can think of, we're beating them. Let's go play against Brazil. That's the new Clásico. It's the Clásico of North America versus South America.
But that's not the benchmark. The thing is, at the World Cup, they missed the World Cup, and then at least two where they went home after the group stage.
And they eliminated Mexico.
I don't see that.
I mean, you can choose
just they won, but how is that?
To fit your narrative.
In the last 30 years, that's their claim to fame that they beat Mexico.
And I think what pisses Jaime off is that there can be some truth to it that they won't be World Cup champs. But
it's been 30 years. It's been 30 years. Where's that improvement?
Farther than Mexico. And I'm not saying that's what I want. That's the last thing I want.
Their improvement's not coming because of Mexico, though.
Embarrassing to be as a Mexico fan.
Them sending players to Europe has nothing to do with them playing Mexico.
You're a soccer country. Your country its national sport is soccer. And then the country north of you, where soccer is the fourth most popular sport, they surpass you in every way possible. Imagine how embarrassing that would be. Me as a Mexico fan, I'd be embarrassed. Like, it would be super embarrassing.
They've been saying that for the last 30 years, dog.
Yeah, longer.
I got
at the national team, each time the gap gets shorter. Liga MX
There's nothing to do with them playing Mexico, though. There's nothing to do with them playing Mexico.
Superior MLS. But at the national team, that gap is always closing down.
I want to hear what Albert has to say about this. He just joined. Welcome, Albert, to the show. He's on mute, but feel free to speak up when you get a chance. It's a great, debate. It's obviously everyone has their own.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are, Albert. What do you think about this?
You know what? I gotta agree. The U.S. has surpassed Mexico. I mean, I'm just looking at the possible matchup. If both teams make it to the final, fuck. I don't see how Chavez, Sanchez, and Edson could handle McKennie, man. It's fucking.
Yeah, but you think it came from playing Mexico? You think they surpassed Mexico because they play Mexico like that. Like really, that's the reason.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Because that's what Guardado said. That because that Mexico is helping the U.S. get better.
Well, I don't know if on the pitch, but I know that before when Zoom was partner up with U.S. Soccer, uh, those Mex tours, they would help fund the U.S. Soccer. Those tours in Europe. Guess who paid for them? Three fans. So I mean, I think in the way that's how they help, but on the pitch, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know on the pitch.
I think on the pitch, Mexico has helped them because, let's be honest, Mexico was the king of Concacaf. As far as there was a big gap between Mexico, U.S., Canada, Honduras.
Otra.
What,
No,
man? The
tampoco, güey.
trophies back then,
Mamadas, güey.
Joel. The trophies
Look,
and
wait,
the
look. Okay, hold on.
wait.
Okay, trophies.
Let me
Wait,
finish.
okay, let's.
Let me finish. The consistent World Cup qualifications, the consistent Gold Cup wins, the consistent results, like winning in Confederations Cup, winning Olympic gold medal. Mexico has been superior to every other country in this area. Superior to Honduras, Nicaragua, Canada, USA, you name it. Mexico has been superior. So since Mexico has been superior, they have that right to call themselves kings of CONCACAF. Now, if you take Mexico and you take them, let's say, to South America, and they have to play Brazil 3, 4 times a year, and they're always playing Brazil, and they go from getting their ass kicked, 4-5-0 to 3-0, 2-0, 1-1, and then you start beating them. That's how you make them. That's how they help you grow, and that's what Mexico has been for the U.S. It was ass kickings
Look
after
at
ass
play right
kickings,
friendly,
and then
man. The
you
other
get a
games they
2002
have to
World
play
Cup
because they're
win,
in the
get some more
Federación.
confidence. Yes, Mexico has helped the U.S. improve on the
No, man, that's just mamadas. Look, but Mexico did become, they were the king of the region, and they hit this good like 8 year, maybe 10 year run where they had all that dominance. But something that helped them a lot was uh, the Gold Cup being hosted in the U.S.
But
That's
also
what
look,
helped them because
yeah,
we go here's really quick. If you look at the Gold Cup when the other countries used to host it, they used to win them. You'll see Honduras or some of these other countries,
eh,
they would win. They would win the Gold Cup. And if you go further back, Mexico got eliminated in World Cup qualifying twice. So people make it seem like Mexico's always like head and shoulders above everyone else. Not really, man. Not if you look at soccer wise, up until like from the first World Cup to like 1950, which is the last U.S. World Cup, U.S. had a better record than Mexico in World Cup games, and they just stopped playing because they went to the other sports. But their federación is even older than Mexico. So people forget they think like they just started in '96. No, there's a lot of history here with football. Make it seem all of a sudden as like Mexico showing them how to kick a ball. It's just, dude, yeah, it's demasiado mamada right there, man. Come on. That's
Dude,
just
it's
too
not
much right there,
demasiada
dude.
mamada.
It is,
Mexico
man, it is.
won 9, the U.S. won 7, Canada won
Because they're not being hosted here. They're being hosted here.
Canada
Get rid of
won
that
1.
shit and it's
You
gonna
go from
be,
9-7-1. How can you say
yeah,
Mexico's not was not or is the king of CONCACAF?
because they're basically playing at home, dude. They're all being hosted here.
yeah, because in front of Mexican crowds.
Yeah,
Come on,
they have to say, what's
I was I've been to a lot of those Mexico Gold Cup games, and it's fucking
yeah,
even against the U.S. Even against the U.S.
their
That
home.
2011 game, that 2011, I was fucking there on the field. Fucking,
I would agree.
it was a good fucking 80-20 Mexico.
Yeah, it's been,
Exactly,
and
and
that's
that
if we could say what's
speaks
helped.
to helping the U.S. grow. How many times
Yeah,
do you
but
hear
see, that
Mexican?
wasn't Mexico.
How
That was
many
the whole
times do you hear
Federación
Mexico
agreeing to
fans
that.
say We need to stop playing in the U.S. We're always a home crowd. We need to go play games where we're the away fans, where we're the away team, where we feel that pressure,
That's
because that's
mamadas
going to make
también,
us
güey.
grow.
Some
So we're
journalists
always the
said
home
that shit
crowd, and
and
they'll go
everyone
nuts.
ran with
And
it.
the other teams are always the away team. They always have the smaller fans, and they always feel the pressure against them. And that doesn't help them grow.
I mean,
We're giving them
Mexico
what
is
we're
pretty much
asking for. We're literally
it's
giving
pretty
them
much
what we're asking for.
This is a lot of that. Repeat a lie enough times it becomes true. This whole if they play here, they're not going to be good. Mexico wasn't even playing international tournaments when they go to Copa America '93 in South America and they make it all the way to the final. '94, the group of death, 3 European teams, they finished on top. They weren't exactly playing all these tournaments that make them that good. They were just had a really good, strong home. If you have a good league, a good home league, you're gonna throw hands anywhere you go. But
it was a
whole
Menotti
notion
effect.
that
It was a Menotti effect.
yeah, but this notion that you have to go to all these other places and somehow that's gonna make you. Yeah, tampoco, dude. Yes,
So you're saying
that's too much, man.
Joel, you're saying current Liga MX sucks. That's why our
Yes,
Selección
I've
Mexicana
been
sucks.
I've been saying that for like the past maybe 10 years. Yeah, the whole campeón every year, short mini seasons, liguilla, all of that. If anything's hurt Mexican soccer, it's that. I mean, look how much Mexico achieved just by their own league. They weren't
It
sending
seems like
players to Europe in droves.
it seems like I was
What
gonna say
happened?
it seems like La Selección Mexicana has plateaued as every other team in our Concacaf region has increased. Mexico has stayed the same.
Yeah.
We haven't increased. No hemos hecho nada. Nomás puro plateau. Wow, we're not really competing.
Look at that team from
but look at teams like Costa Rica and Honduras. How have they improved? They've taken steps backwards. I mean, the only one that I really saw exceptional improvement was Canada, and it seems that they're taking steps
yeah, they've been pretty money. They started their own league and building stadiums. They've been investing in that. I think that's ultimately what you need, like just to start investing more and more in your own. But just going back to my old point, you look at that next team, they just had what 2 players in Europe in '94. Well, wait, I don't think Hugo was in Europe. Was he? Was he?
no, they had no players in Europe. They had no players in Europe.
No, I think Luis Garcia had come back.
Oh, Luis Garcia. He came back in the summer after the tournament.
Dude, look at that Italy team they played. That was that AC Milan. That team's fucking insane, dude. And they got a 1-1 draw. And if you see that game, you're looking at fucking players from Necaxa and America and going up against that AC Milan team that's fucking legendary, dude. Just hit up the players, man. These are people forget. We did that shit just with Liga MX talent. And
it was different times.
Like, it was
different times.
Tienes que ir para allá, tienes que comer esto. La verga,
but it was different. It was different times. It was different. It was different times. Look at the extranjeros. The extranjeros they used to bring were actually good. They didn't just bring them.
Yes.
They were good guys. Era como se dice, eran gente que portaba, no nomás los traían por negocios porque le van a ganar $10,000 en su pase, no, traían buenos y no había muchos.
Yeah, to me that's what's hurt to Mexico. Yeah, that they went up to 11 foreigners, and then every year they'll bring five. Every team brings like 5 or 6. Not even every year, dude. Twice a year.
And then up to
bringing all these players.
Then up to the '94 World Cup, you still had the torneos largos where they let players develop, they let fucking coaches be coaches.
Dude, there was everything there. Yeah, so saying we act like that shit was not good anymore. And then what?
It's a system. It's a system.
When that's the generación that ends up going on to win Confederaciones '99.
Yep.
But even like the '98 World Cup was also good for them. I mean, they were so close to beating Germany, dude. That Luis Hernandez missed right in front. Dude, oh man, that still haunts me to this day.
And if you look at it, up to 2006, I mean, fucking with La Volpe, I mean, how many guys went? 4 or 5 guys went to Europe. In 2006 with La Volpe. It was like four or five guys that went to Europe. And where were they playing? They were playing in Liga MX. It's just I think, and just in the past 15 years, the rule changes just have affected have stunted the growth of the national player.
Yeah, top to bottom. Well, except for youth. That's the only difference, I would say. Not at the youth level. They still do good. But I would say, like, if you compare Mex Youth to the other teams, they play the most games, the most tournaments, there's more money in it. A lot of these teams sometimes don't even call up their better players.
Nope.
For sure, man. Wanted to talk a little bit about Chivas. They are very close to getting an exclusive deal with Amazon Prime. The rumor is 20 million. I don't know if this would just be within Mexico or this would also include the U.S. because here in the U.S. they have a contract with Telemundo. But how do you feel about the potential move for Chivas going to Amazon Prime?
That's great. More money coming in. Hopefully, better refuerzos.
Hold on. It is only for Mexico. It is not within the U.S. Within the U.S., it will stay with Telemundo. In fact, they have just read up not too long ago the Telemundo contract. So Amazon Prime is only Mexico.
So we have to keep hearing Cantor call Chivas game. Fuck. Fuck.
I don't think Cantor is with Telemundo anymore.
He's not. No, bro. He's ahead of their World Cup coverage. No, but recently I've heard Calvo, the Mexican guy, call the game. So maybe he's not calling Chivas games anymore.
No, it's Gurwitz. Miguel Gurwitz.
No, it's Calvo. Calvo's the play-by-play.
Calvo con
Gurwitz is the studio guy. It's Calvo and Manuel Sol.
Yep.
Yeah, what happened to him, Andres Cantor? Is he?
Bro, I swear to God, I think he's doing the Argentinian league because
he's preparing his son's wedding.
Because the thing is, when I watch the Argentinian league on Paramount Plus in Spanish, it sounds like it's Cantor who's doing it.
Is that on what streaming service?
Paramount.
Oh, I don't think so, dude. I think he's still
part of he's there. He's there, bro. He's gonna be leading the Olympics and the World Cup. So he's there.
Yeah.
Wait, really quick. I'm pretty sure you're gonna know who's that Guatemalan guy that does radio in LA. He's been doing it for years. He would do play-by-play.
El González. Rolando González.
That's the guy. Thank you, dude. I was losing my mind. I was just telling this guy, it's like, sometimes, like you'll be in the press box and sometimes you run into people and you just say hi or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, the 2 times where I just kind of choked. I didn't even know that. Like, I didn't really listen to that dude. But have you met him?
Oh, me? Yeah. No, I never. I just seen him, but he's like old school. Like he started with like the first legit Spanish sports radio show hablando de deportes in the United States. He started that. Then he did the World Cup '94. Then he did Galaxy Games. He also did baseball. He wasn't too good at baseball, but I mean locally, he's considered a legend. He's considered a legend.
Yeah. See, that was the dude. All right, thank you, man.
He has a man's voice.
I'm like, I'm happy that we have potentially Amazon Prime. Anything's better than Telemundo at this point. But I will say though, it's like that 20 million is gonna go straight into Amaury's pocket. He's not gonna use that to spend on Chivas, dude. That guy, what like
He's gonna fund the movie.
Yeah. I'm just like, all right. Like there was a question that was asked on Twitter that like, would you rather have your country win a World Cup or your club have unlimited amount of money? And I'm like, if Chivas had an unlimited amount of money, would things change? I don't think they would change because you still have the same problem. You're limited to Mexicans.
But now you could offer that Mexican, that money that keeps him from coming to the MLS.
Bro, Chivas has money. They go for Arteaga, Chiquito, Brandon Vasquez, Luis Chavez, Orbelín Pineda. Now you're talking about Galacticas and bullshit like that. Now you're actually talking about a competitive team.
Chivas Galacticas 2.0.
Yeah, you're telling me those players outside of, I guess, maybe being America fans, if that's even the reason that would stop them, outside of that, they wouldn't want to play for one of the most popular teams in the country and get paid well, and knowing that they're going to a competitive team with other national team players.
Look, Chivas with money would have gotten Lainez and Cordova. I have no doubt about that.
Exactly, man. You get Chivas money.
He had the choice, and he said he'd rather win titles.
No, because the money. Come on, it was the fucking money.
No, he had the choice. I think they offered the same amount of money.
Yeah, but there's no lie in what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. Even if
Chivas, you know what? Because Monterrey has, they have more money and they have a better squad. Yeah, but Chivas had the money, they would have a better squad. It would fucking no problem.
A player
the fucking stripes.
Cordova had the same offer to go to Tigres or Chivas, and he decided to go to Tigres. So having more money, I mean,
no, that's way. I know what you're saying, but it makes zero sense. They have more money to give 12 other guys Cordova money.
I'm just saying, like,
exactly.
Chivas was putting all their eggs in one basket and saying, "Here, we're gonna give you all this money. Now, you see all these homeless guys on the team. Can you save them?"
Oh my, his way.
Like, that's why I'm talking about having enough money where you have 14, 15 guys making big bucks.
I think a player has a blank checkbook when they go to Chivas and like, hey, we'll give you all this money to go to Chivas. Like, they don't see Chivas as a big club anymore. They rather go to Tigres, even if they were offered the same money.
14 players a blank checkbook. That's a different story. Tigres and Monterrey, they're able to do that. Chivas isn't. Chivas, you're going to collect money, but everyone else is going to be a bunch of bums. Now, Chivas had the money to give 14, 15 guys a blank checkbook. Just come on over. What do you want? It'd be a whole different story. So, yes, Chivas needs money to give to everyone, not just to one or two guys.
I see. I just don't think under the current management that money would be used for the right. I just feel like they're going to just slip it in their pocket.
Yeah, because current management is broke. That's what you do when you're broke. You have a nice little come up. You have money in your pocket. But if you're rich and somebody throws 60, 70 million your way, you're like, I already got billions. So I don't care. Use it on the team.
Yeah. No, Mauri's going to take that Amazon money and he's going to keep it, or he's going to be like, we're going to make another season of Chivas on Amazon.
But you know what? Money's everything.
20 million is like good amount of money?
A year? Or fucking for
a year?
How many?
A year.
Is it?
20 is a lot.
Wait, you're saying 20 is a lot? Did I hear you right?
20? If you're getting it from Telemundo and Amazon, that's 40, bro.
Okay, so 20 million is a lot of money just for Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm pretty sure Joel said that $23 million price pool was not a lot. So I just want to make sure.
Joel's rich, man. He's like, what am I going to do with this 20, like this pocket change? This ain't shit.
Con eso se limpia.
No, I said that's just one bet. The 20 million is only if you win.
El dinero
That's what
para
I'm
el
saying. The
domingo.
rich team, and I'm saying like how they think, right? You're not gonna like say they're not gonna say we're going to this tournament because we might win 20 million. Like that's not really in it for them. There's more at play there. It is a good amount of money, but at the end of the day, those teams have so much money that that's not gonna entice them. Just that alone, just the one shot of maybe winning it. That's what I was trying to say. The regular prize money, it's on par with what they could make playing the Molero.
Oh,
Yeah.
They probably make more here with the Molero. What you got it down to, Jaime? 500,000?
I don't know. I don't know how much. Like for example, for this Nations League, a lot of clubs are playing friendlies out here. Like Chivas, Atlas are going to play in LA. I think there's an America game somewhere. I don't know how much they get for those friendlies.
I think it's around 400, 500. Around there.
That's not bad for one game.
Yeah. No, and then you know what?
I thought it was between $1 million and $2 million, huh?
No, I don't think. I don't know. I don't think they get. You're not fucking. You're not paying.
If 60,000 in tickets are no longer $20 each. You're looking at $300 tickets.
Joel, they're not playing at they're playing at the MLS stadiums. They're not playing.
Yeah, they're playing in fucking Dignity Health Park at fucking the bank.
They're playing at. They're playing at like.
All right,
20,000.
We're looking at friendly games.
Yeah. So I don't think they could be pulling that much money.
I don't think it's $1 million. I don't think it's a fucking $1 million.
Yeah.
Huh.
I wish I could see the numbers.
Coliseum, when they play Coliseum, Chivas would bring within 60, 70,000.
Oh, I believe
that. They will come play at the Coliseum. That was. So I do think they were making.
Like, how much do you think Mexico will make tomorrow for the Nations League game?
Fucking 300,000.
No idea with that.
I feel like national teams get more. No.
Huh.
Oh no, that's the double feature from.
I don't know, because that's the from the Concacaf prize pool, so obviously it's different. So,
yeah,
it's a good question.
I wish I knew the numbers, dude. It would really start to make sense if we see, if we follow the money.
Well, look, in 2009. This is what they told me they paid the Guatemala to play against Mexico in San Diego in June of 2009. They paid them 400,000.
Damn.
Yeah, and a year before they had paid, and they told us, oh yeah, the reason you guys are not getting paid is because Argentina charged a lot. They told us Messi with Argentina was $2 million. At the same fucking stadium.
$2 million was
in 2008. That's in 2008.
Was the stud fee? Damn.
Hey, well, according to online, the U.S. got $1 million cash prize for winning the last Nations League.
$1 million?
Yeah, it's not a lot.
So the semi is probably what, 300, 400?
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I want to know you guys' predictions for tomorrow. On one side, you have USA versus Jamaica at 4 p.m. and then the main event at 7, Panama, Mexico.
I say the U.S. Drubs Jamaica 3-0 and Mexico a 2-1, a tight 2-1.
Okay. Who else got some predictions?
Man, I'm gonna say easy USA win because Jamaica, they're missing Bailey, Antonio, Gray, a bunch of other good guys. So it's gonna be like all bones going up against the US. They're gonna be at full strength. With Mexico, Panama, Mexico should win, but I think ever since Panama came out with that sign in the locker room that said Concacaf Rateros or whatever, where Mexico got that bullshit PK against them.
It wasn't a bullshit PK. Fucking Roman Torres fucking. Roman Torres was fucking for a fucking fumble. He was fucking thought he was playing NFL. He was going for a fucking fumble. Come on.
He throws himself backwards. He couldn't break in that.
He slaps the fucking ball. He slapped the fucking ball on the way down.
The people say bullshit.
You know how they have the two angles. The U.S. has like because they film from different sides of the stadium. So if you see the Mex one, it clearly shows it's a penalty.
Yeah,
no penal, me vale madres. All I know.
And don't get me started on the fucking dummies from fucking Univision.
Like some kind of like hate for Mexican soccer.
He complains Telemundo, then
I'm just saying those Panamanians really want to beat us. And I think they'll be way more motivated, way more hyped than what Jamaica will be against the U.S.
Oh yeah, Panama wants blood, dude.
Yeah, so I think that game's gonna be definitely closer. It's gonna be way closer than people expect.
It's gonna be a 2-1. I said a 2-1 type fucking game. And don't be surprised if Mexico fucking gets a go ahead with a fucking penal.
For old time's sake.
Just to fucking drive it into him.
I like how you think, Al.
Yeah. No, I think tomorrow I would be shocked if USA and Mexico don't get through.
I think that's the general consensus.
That's the only way they're fucking feeling. That's the only way they're feeling fucking Jerry Land on fucking Sunday. They don't want another fucking sad case like fucking last year at fucking Allegiant, where was it fucking 2,000 fans? It was pretty sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I got a prediction. I got a prediction for you guys. Ahí les va a ir. Easy win USA. México, Panamá, empatan 2-2, se van a penales, Mexico gana.
Fuck.
By the skin of their super close.
You think they're gonna?
I don't think I can take that.
You think they're gonna go to penalties?
Bro, I think they're gonna go to penalties. Lo siento.
I won and guarantees the 2026 spot.
God damn.
Yeah, I mean, I was there in Denver when they did it, and it was PKs, right? I think it was Mexico, Costa Rica, right?
Va a ser un partido cardíaco. I can feel it.
It's gonna be one of those games where everybody's shit on the timeline is gonna be fucking shitting Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It should be good. It's been a while since we've seen the Selección play, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. But
look, here's my take, and really what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that Panama comes out with the same energy that Mexico did versus the U.S. at the last, the Nation League's final semi, donde ni salieron a jugar, nomás salieron a tirar putazos. Like, that's what I want. That's what I want to watch. Because I'll be honest, that might have been the best game from the Selección that I've ever watched.
Yeah, so I had to look it up. In the 2021 Nations League, they played Costa Rica 0-0, and then they went to PKs. So, I don't know. Maybe FC Gordito's onto something. But, I mean, we have what it takes to beat Panama, dude. I mean, that we shouldn't even be having this conversation, honestly.
I don't know. It's going to be a tight game. Goleada, definitely not. And it's not going to be one of those, those easy breathing victories. It's going to be fucking, You know, it wouldn't really surprise me if fucking they get the win in the aggregate.
In the 9th minute of extra time.
En el pinche minuto 97.
In the 10th minute of OT.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. It just feels going to be one of those fucking games.
Hurt Gomez just posted a video about Leon Bailey. He says he stepped away because of economic challenges, structural reforms within the federation. So that's unfortunate.
Who's Leon Bailey? Who's
Jamaica?
Who's that, Jaime? To coach?
No, he's a player for the Jamaican national team.
He's a baller.
Shit.
He's really good, dude. He used to play in the Prem. I don't know if he's still in the Prem League.
Yeah, he is, and he's a baller. He like scores or assists basically every other game.
Yeah, he's a good kid. I know he was at Bayer Leverkusen for a while, and then he went to Aston Villa, and he's been there since. But we'll see what the lineup looks like tomorrow. You know, you have Quiñones, Henry Martin, you have Santi. We'll see. We'll see what kind of lineup he goes for. Jimmy Lozano.
You already know that mofo's starting Henry. And if he starts Gallardo, I'm be. That's one of those things, man. Like, if he starts Gallardo, it's one of those things where, like, what you do at your club doesn't even matter. Because Gallardo's riding the bench. Arteaga is playing for Monterrey. And they both play for the same club, but then they get to the national team and the bench guy starts. Because he knows the system. He fits into my system. I've been working with him longer. And at that, when coaches start doing that shit, it pisses me off because I'm a firm believer that whoever's hot is who needs to play. The game's about moments.
What more does Alan Mosso have to do to get called up from the national team, bro? That guy's
fuck Alan Mosso, man. That dude's terrible.
Dude, he's been balling out, dude. You got to give him that.
Dude, I love Alan Mosso as a Chivas fan. He's one of my favorite players on the roster. But as a like coaching perspective, national team perspective, I don't think I would call him either. I probably call him to.
Really?
I probably call him to be like, "Hey, you've been doing good," and never call him again.
You're tripping, bro.
Like his defending is just not it, man.
When dude, his defending against America was great. What are you talking about?
Man, when you say he's balling out because he's hustling on the final third and sending in some cross or something. But if you look at the spacing he be leaving in the back, I'm not convinced. But I'm not gonna say that Araujo's better than him. I don't think Araujo's that great.
I don't think Jorge Sanchez is better than him.
I would say Jorge Sanchez ain't it either. I'd probably start there has to be some Pachuca guy or somebody to start.
So starting lineup tomorrow: Ochoa, Gallardo, Vasquez, Montes, Araujo. In the midfield, Luis Chavez, Edson Alvarez, Chiquito Sanchez, and then Chucky Lozano, Antuna, and el desgastador Henry Martin. That is the possible starting 11 tomorrow for Mexico.
And, props to Antuna. I thought he was going to leave Chivas and then just fall off. And no, sir. He's been a competitor both at the club level and the national team level. Since he's just a party animal getting drunk and shit, I didn't think he had the mentality to overcome something like that. Or maybe he's so stupid, like he doesn't care, like at all, so it doesn't affect him. So, but yeah, man, the way he stayed consistent and he's no one can take his spot. Props to him. I didn't expect that out of him.
You know what it is, man. Once you leave La Toxica, your life gets better. So you know what? Send over JJ.
But your sex life goes down, dude.
You always miss them blowjobs,
No, dude. La Toxica has the best sex. I'm sorry. It's just.
Bro, todos sabemos que la tóxica te la mama desde atrás, pero como quiera, güey. Like, your life will be better once you leave. That's why I'm saying, give me JJ Mack and we'll take care of him.
Yeah, you guys can have him. He's fucking terrible, dude. That guy's got one leg.
Yeah. Better than fucking Sir Flops a lot, pinche Chicharito. Or should we just call him Krillin from now on?
Hey, you leave Javier Hernandez alone, man. He's very close to getting put in a nursing home.
You know what, man? Here's a super hot take. El Chicharito tenía todo su talento futbolístico en el pelo. Now that it's leaving, no vale verga el vato.
Al puro estilo de Sansón.
Exactly.
He was scoring hella goals for Galaxy when he was fit. You can tell, dude, he hasn't played in a year. I don't know what people expect. He hasn't played in a year. At the end of the day, he left Liga MX, what, like almost 15 years ago? It's quote unquote a new league for him, man. He still
Yeah.
kind of has to adapt to it. His team has to adapt to him. Shit like that.
All I
And
know
then
is he's on a completely different wavelength compared to the rest of the team. I see his movements. They don't see them. They don't get his plays, dude. He makes great runs, and they all just do not look up and like can give him the ball. It's very frustrating to watch, dude.
exactly, you go from Douglas Costa feeding you the ball to pinche Nene Beltran. También no mames, güey.
Cade Cow can't even fucking cross a ball, dude. Like,
No way. He can't even dribble with a ball. Let's get that one straight.
yeah, no, it's terrible. Yeah, I think
And then
he'll get it though.
And then the other thing, you want to know what I expected out of Chicharito? The same thing that I expect out of Chivas every season. Nothing. Because we knew what it was going to be.
No.
I know we haven't talked about Liga MX, but how did you guys feel about the three clásicos that Chivas had against America? Obviously, we did talk about the first one where they lost 3-0, but then they came back and showed some pride in the second leg in the Champions Cup. They were up 2-0. It all seemed like it was maybe the miracle was going to happen, but then America tied it up 2-2, and then Chivas got a third one. So they won the battle but lost the war, and then on Saturday they just had no more juice left, 0-0. But overall, how would you guys feel about?
I think Gago got a lifeline. That win, then followed by a draw. Chivas was basically they were basically in the coffin. America just had to put the final nail, and they choked. They choked pretty bad. Got beat in their own home. I think that returned some of Chivas mojo. Let's see if all that's been enough to win over the squad from Gago, because Habibi was telling me the players had lost all faith.
I don't know. For me, in the last two games, one thing I can nitpick with Gago is his over fucking reliance on fucking Conejito Brizuela. I mean, I don't know what he sees in him. He showed a lot of faith in him, and I just don't see it.
It's the nose, man. Los Argentinos están narizones, so it's like his cousin or something. It reminds him of back home. But
it seems like he has totally fucking brushed off fucking Jair Garcia. I don't know. Does the kid even make it to the bench anymore? I don't know.
Yael Padilla? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
he was hurt, so he just played with the U23 team, and he should be good come this international break.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'll say about this series? One, all the America fans out there, chinguen su madre, for a few reasons. One, the only people I hear say this, it's America fans and their little perras Chemo fans. Oh, Chivas siempre usa la excusa de que solo juega con mexicanos. I never hear any Chiva hermanos say that bullshit.
I've never seen it. I've never heard
I
it.
never hear any Chivas fans saying, "Oh, we only lost because we play with Mexicans." Never. But everyone else makes you think like that's all they say. The other thing is, all I kept hearing America fans say is, "Oh, Chivas fans are proud that they beat us, even the game, even though they lost the series. They're proud, or they're proud that they also tied in Akron. Like they're proud that they didn't lose." I was like, "Not, I didn't hear that from anyone." So it's like Ricardo, man, these imaginary voices. But one thing I will say about the whole series that also made me realize America is not as good as people say they are. Because Gago, where he fucked up, was starting Lalo Torres that first game.
Oh,
That
facts.
Gago, that Gago lined up. I said it on the chat before the game even started. It reminded me of Tata Martino's lineup against Argentina.
Exactly.
That you
Yeah.
were coming out to not lose. You didn't care about winning. You just care about not getting your ass kicked and not losing.
Like, he showed a little confidence in his fucking team.
There was zero confidence in that lineup. And if he would have not started Lalo Torres, if he would start like even a simple 4-4-2, like, we're here to play, we're here to attack, I think that first game goes way different. And who knows what happens game number 2. But I think Gago gave him that first game. Like, out of fear, I don't know what. But America's not that good. They don't look that good.
He had no faith in the guys he had. He honestly thought fucking, and at the end it happened, but it happened because of his fucking foolish fucking lineup. It was gonna get run over, and he did, but it was because of his. I think in large part because of his fucking doing.
Yeah, if he starts the lineup, he starts second game. The first game would have been much closer. Yeah. Much closer. Oh, and then speaking of Lalo Torres, shout out Lalo Torres. He uploaded a story on Instagram the other day with a baddie, a 10. No wonder he sucks, man. He shows up to every game that's lechado with weak knees. I don't blame him, but it makes
balls
sense.
drained every practice, man.
I told you guys, he has Bambi legs. Bambi legs.
It all makes sense now. So Lalo Torres, my apologies. I was not familiar with your game.
Yeah, you just don't play for Chivas, dude. You fucking suck ass. That guy's trash, dude. As soon as he saw him in the line, I'm like, oh, this is over, dude. And Pichichi in the chat's like, no, man, he's a good player. I'm like, dude, he's absolutely trash. I think it would have been a different game. But one person that I do want to give their flowers to is also Gonzalez, dude. That guy was he was a wall, dude, in the game. I'm like, good for him, dude. He really stepped up.
He did okay, pero mira, wait, aquí está mi cosa about all of this, right? First off, I'm still upset about the fact that we were even talking about the possibility of firing Gago. Like, no mames, güey. Like, don't fucking break the glass. You're not at that point of emergency yet, right? You need to get your team gelling and working together. Now, I guess there's 3 points. The other one is, like, no mames, güey. Your fan base. Like, the shit that they do to Quiñones every single time, the fact that they call him a monkey, the fact that they howl at him, the fact that they do all of these things, how can you be proud of calling yourself a fan when you're doing that type of shit?
Wait, no seas mamón. Please, shut the fuck up.
Y tercero,
threw shit at your coach, Jornada Uno, because they lost. And you call that standards.
I will take that any day.
Throwing shit at the coach. Well, no, here's the thing. You don't say you're fans. At the end of the day, son paisas, güey. Mexicans like el desmadre. So you can't criticize Chivas fans for this, but then go to the Mexico games where they're saying puto and they're like throwing beers and they're stabbing each other and say, oh my God, I love the ambiance. It's the same people. It's the same fucking people, all right? Because that's what you're doing. You're criticizing them just because of the jersey color. But if they had a Mexico jersey, you'd be like, pinche desmadre de mi gente. I fucking love it.
No. I'm criticizing them for the racism.
If we do that to Panama players tomorrow, you'd be like, that's my fan base right there.
Yeah,
exactly. No.
50
no. The
IQ
racism is The racism is unacceptable. Now the homophobia, I'll slide with it because that's one of the most Latin American things that we have. All right, let's not forget that. Now the third thing that I am upset about is the fact that Chivas was able to somehow put together a remontada. Porque wait, the story that I had ready for you guys, just 3 simple pictures, was gonna paint the image of what Chivas truly is. But I'll wait. It's okay.
So you're saying la remontada that Cruz Azul can never do in America? How about you focus on your own backyard, buddy? How about you focus on Cruz Azul doing one remontada on America?
Oh, man.
It's coming. Like I said, it's coming in Liguilla. Don't worry. Es donde duelen más.
Es donde vas a estar llorando tú más, because if you face America, they're going to beat you.
I don't think so. Not this time.
Well, Cruz Azul had had a defeat against Necaxa, bro. Undefeated Necaxa. Not undefeated, but they've.
Yeah, ¿sabes qué, güey? You know what? Don't even come in here with that bullshit, all right? Because look, let me just explain it to you so fucking simple para que hasta tú entiendas, pendejo. two half blunts don't equal full blunt, okay? So entonces, de que sigan empatando juegos y todo eso, no les da el pinche crédito que les estás dando. So just remember that. Now, the other thing is, all right, fuck, I am a little bit scared because it's starting to look like we've been exposed by two different teams, and now the third one, which was Necaxa, kind of figured out on how to neutralize Cruz Azul's games. So something needs to happen y el profe tiene que figurar algo para que funcione. Porque neta, se tienen que cambiar las cosas. Porque que el pinche Necaxa, güey. Neta, estaba emputadísimo, güey. Estaba en la casa de mis suegros. It was my mother-in-law's birthday party. And I was just fucking fuming. And they're like, what's wrong with you? Just like, you guys don't fucking understand. This is a historically shit team. Like, how the fuck are they doing this? And it's just that. It's the fact that the formula has been figured out. It's starting to happen, and now we need to see what it is that we can do. Now, granted, it doesn't fucking really help right now, but there are talks about up to 5 players coming into Cruz Azul in the next season that they're already scouted and they know what it is that they want to do. Oh. So one of the big things is trust the process, right? Do that shit that Philly did, and maybe you'll make it deep into the playoffs.
So some more money laundering, got it.
A huevo, ese es Cruz Azul, papá. ¿Qué más quieres?
Yeah, man, I don't understand the hate for Necaxa, man. I don't know if like growing up, some Necaxa bully like stole your girl or what. Because in the last 5 games, you have 3 losses, and Necaxa only has 1. Necaxa has scored more goals this tournament than you, and Necaxa is only 1 point behind you. So you're making it sound like you're playing like God's favorite form of soccer, and then Necaxa's there by luck. They're only 1 point behind you. If anything, I wouldn't even call it an upset. I would say that Necaxa beat a team of their level.
Oh. Shots
fired.
Wow.
Wow. Si supieras, güey. Pero sabes que no sabes de fútbol, le vas a las Chivas. Like, I get it. That's why I started this whole conversation with 2 half blunts don't equal full blunt. There's a big difference. All right? Y un chingos de empates no te da el derecho de que andes, no, güey, soy el más vergudo, de que quién sabe qué. No, papá. No es lo mismo.
Well, I mean, everybody, any given Sunday can win a game. That's what happened with Necaxa. I think they're just like, sleeping giant, dude. I think they might upset some more teams later down the road.
Sleeping giant. No mames, güey. Salte de aquí. Atlas is a bigger sleeping giant.
I don't know about that. They're in 14th position, 10 points.
Exactly. That's how big a fucking mamadas it is what you just said. Sleeping giant.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Toluca's getting their shit together. They had a great victory over Pumas, 3-0. Alexis Vega scored in that one. And we also had a huge blowout from Tigres, 5-1 against Mazatlan. Guys, it's time to talk about Marcelo Flores. I know I've been talking shit about him, but hey, he's shutting everybody up with his goals.
I mean, he's got he had my curiosity, now he has my attention,
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be another flop, but this fucking past 3 games. I mean, he's been busting moves. I mean, it's
a little too early.
But you know what? It's flashes. There was nothing. There was fucking nothing. You saw, like you saw who the fuck is this fucking pale kid? But now he's fucking. He's showing some that promise that led Mexico to fucking poach him from Canada. He's starting to show something. He's got my attention.
Bro, I think these are little embers que se van a apagar en la liguilla.
That's
what I'm going to say.
Respeta a mi cuñado, carnal, porque si no te rompo el pincho hocico.
That might be true, but one thing I've noticed, his touch, man, his first touch, very few Mexican players have it.
Exactly. It's a different guy.
Yeah, it's, I don't know where that first touch was before. I don't know if it's because of the confidence or what, but the kid has a touch. You know, just like Carlos Vela. You see Carlos Vela's touch, and you can tell he's different. If he actually does something with it or doesn't do something with it, different story. But I think he has the tools to be more than your average player.
It's the Arsenal school, bro.
Maybe that it is what it is. Let's send everybody to Arsenal, or the equivalent of Cruz Azul, where they can get used to being the almost made it team.
Don't disrespect Arsenal like that, dude.
Oh my God, you're still living off 2006 Invisibles. It's the same.
No, Arsenal's
even worse.
Arsenal's bad, but they're not Cruz Azul bad. I think they're a little step up from Cruz Azul.
No mames, way. Like, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. If we're gonna do a mid-table team from EPL, it's Arsenal. I'll take Arsenal. Fuck it. Maybe no. I won't go as far as to say Hammers and West Ham.
Cruz
Like
Azul. Arsenal is the ultimate Cruz Azul. I think last tournament they were top of the table like 95% of the season, and they still lost. I mean, that's the ultimate Cruz Azul.
Yeah, talking about Marcelo Flores, like I honestly thought that they were courting him a little bit prematurely. This whole race of like securing him to become eligible for the Mexican national team right during the World Cup. And I mean, they really rushed that process and really hyped him up. And, Tata Martino was like, I'll call him up, but you guys need to slow down on this guy. He's still very young. He still hasn't played in the first division yet. So, when it came to like in the early stages, I was a little bit skeptical because, he hadn't played in the first division. And then what happened? He get loaned out to some team in Spain?
Yeah.
Real Oviedo.
And he didn't play and they let him go.
And then he goes to Tigres. So you're like, like that basically ruined any of his chances of becoming like, the next big thing in Mexico. But I will say the move has benefited, I think, everybody. He's getting first division minutes. He's playing in Liga MX, which, it's not a bad league to start in. And now he's actually starting to become like a player that's contributing to the success of Tigres. So, sky's the limit for him. We'll see how his career continues.
Now hold on. You're leaving out a big piece of information about my brother-in-law right here. All right, and it's not just the fact that trajectory; it's what he did when he came on to Tigres. Came on, era banca, went, got a couple minutes here and there to the point to where now Linus is sitting on the bench. He took Linus's spot and is now starting to earn those consistent starting minutes. So that is what's truly impressive. Is like, he has worked his way up, and now he is one of the starters.
And he's doing it while rocking cornrows, man.
That's the other one, bro. It's the cornrow energy. It was him. It was Antuna. Todos, güey.
And then I think you guys are leaving out an important fact. I mean, at the end of the day, players want to feel comfortable. I think the reason he wasn't comfortable in Spain, Spanish, he doesn't really speak Spanish, paella, siestas, all that bullshit. As opposed to going to Tigres, he went back to Europe. So he was more comfortable. He was with his fellow Europeans of Nuevo León. So that always plays a big help.
And Houston is just hopping to skip away. So.
Yeah. We'll see, if he ends up getting called up in the near future for the national team. I will say probably his only disadvantage, and I don't see it changing anytime soon, is his size. He's a very small guy. He's like 5'5".
But you know what? He's not getting pushed around as much anymore. as those first games with El Tri where he looked like a little kid in there. I mean, he's getting some resistance. Hopefully they poke him up a bit, but. And I mean that's gonna help him, but 5'5", he can manage. He's
Yeah, man. Size ain't a big deal. There's always gonna be a girl willing to dance with you, or at least sit on your face. I wouldn't make size an issue. One thing with about Marcelo Jaime that you did say that kind of pissed me off. Not you, but Tata, when you said, "All right, I'll call him up if you guys want," but he's a little green, a little young. And now that I think about it, holy shit, that made us look terrible. Like, Tata's like, oh my God, these fucking Mexicanos are obsessing over this kid who's like not even ready, not even that good. Like, if he's their savior, like, all right, fuckers, I'll call him if you guys really want me to call him. And he's probably thinking, like, we got like 100 of these back home that no one even knows about. And these guys are obsessed with them. All these countries fighting over them. Like, what an embarrassment.
You know
But
what?
yeah,
Talking about
He's like, you guys are
Jaime,
fighting over this guy? Like, I could shit out 10 of these dudes.
oh my God, yeah, as a Mexico fan, that pissed me off.
you know what? Talking about those type of guys, do you guys think Luca Romero eventually changes his mind and accepts the call from Mexico? I mean, Argentina doesn't seem like there's a place for him.
I don't think
Hey man,
so.
the way Luca Romero's heading, he's gonna be at Chivas in 3 years, and I'm not complaining.
What's he up to now? Like, is he still?
I think he plays in
Juventus, huh?
is he Serie A?
Juventus.
Nah, he ain't Juventus. He's at Lazio, no? Or they loan him out.
He is at
Oh no, he's
Milan.
at Almeria. Oh my God,
Milan. Yeah.
he's at Almeria. Oh my goodness,
Oh,
yeah, he's.
yeah.
They haven't won. No, they just won their first game this past weekend, I think. He's getting relegated with Cesar Montes. Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna be at Chivas soon.
Yeah, it looks like he was at Mallorca, Lazio, Milan, and on loan to Almeria. Where is his connection to Mexico?
He
He was
was
born
born
in
in Durango.
Durango.
His
Oh,
dad was playing for Los Alacranes de Durango, I think, Segunda División team, and he happened to be born in Gomez Palacio or some shit like that.
born in Mexico to an Argentine family, he moved to Spain at a young age. Romero holds all 3 passports and is currently eligible to represent all 3 senior national teams. And he says that he's represented the under 17s for Argentina. And he got his first call up to the national team by Scaloni in 2022. So I don't think he'd be eligible to play for Mexico.
If it was a friendly, yeah.
It was a friendly. And then he qualifies for the one-time switch, I believe.
Well, he's not gonna go to Mexico, dude.
Yeah, I don't think
He's
I
not
don't
going to
think
Argentina national team
he's going
anytime
to
soon.
Argentina. Yeah, that's what I don't think so.
I think him being part of I would understand if he was playing in the US. I could see him switching to Mexico, but I think once you play for Argentina, even at the youth level, you're pretty much committed to staying there. Or
Well, not if you're in Chaco Jimenez. And Chaco Jimenez played on the youth level with Argentina in 2001, and then all of a sudden El Tri came calling. And
I think the difference with Chaco is that he has been in Mexico for a long time. Like he has most of his career. Whereas Luca, what connection does he? I mean, aside from being born,
he said he has none. He said his culture's Argentine. He just happened to be born in Mexico.
Exactly.
That's why I want him at Chivas. I don't care about the national team.
Once you realize, that you want to go to a World Cup and that Albiceleste is not talking to you, you look over and you look at that Morenaza over there, and hey, let's go.
That's the one, man. It's the same thing as Fayez Mori did.
For sure, boys. We're at the 2:20 mark, so I want to give you guys the option to have your closing thoughts, and then we can wrap up this episode. It's been a good one.
All right, for me, well, tomorrow, like I said, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be. It's gonna be tough, but Mexico. It's gonna be tough because not because of the quality of Panama, but because they're feisty. It's gonna. Mexico's gonna have to grind out a victory, and then on Sunday, I don't know. I don't know if they have me. Providing that the U.S. drops Jamaican advances. I don't know. I think it's another Mexico takes another L. I don't. Midfield. I just don't. I don't. The U.S. is just another notch right now. I don't see Mexico beating the U.S. on Sunday if that happens.
Interesting. Okay.
I'll go next. Like I said, I think the Panama game is going to be a scrappy one. Just like Albert said, I am hoping Panama comes out there with a knife between its teeth and is willing to kill and break legs. That is what I want. That is what I'm hoping from them, for them to take revenge for what happened in El Azteca. Right? I want to see that type of play. I want to see that nasty Libertadores type style play. And then once that happens, the next game, honestly, I don't really care. The rivalry between the US and Mexico has been so diluted to where watching them doesn't invoke that same type of passion that it did before. Now it's just like, all right, this is business as usual. It happens, it happens. I don't, me vale verga. ¿Verdad? So I'm still gonna watch it because I'm a fucking soccer head, and what better way to spend 2 hours than not paying attention to my wife or kid? So that's what I'm gonna do.
That's hilarious. FC Gorditos, what you got for me?
It's like I said, penales for Mexico tomorrow. I want to say there's going to be a couple expulsiones. It's going to be a scrappy game, like Adia said. Intense, scrappy, penales. That's what I got.
Habibi, what you got for me?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be the typical script. U.S. easy win, Mexico scrappy. Football picante is gonna talk for 10 hours. if if this is enough to beat the U.S., if the U.S. is the favorite, blah 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 blah, and then I think the U.S. most likely wins. And same thing, just talk. The conversation will be the same conversation from the last few years. Is it time for Ochoa to retire? Should Santi be starting over Henry Martin? Like, has the U.S. surpassed us? Blah blah blah. I'm not really looking forward to all that circus. Like I said, I'll watch just because I'll watch. What I'm actually looking forward to is fucking England versus Brazil. I want to see a
That's gonna
little
be a good one.
Bellingham versus Vinny action. I want to see Bellingham and Foden. Right now, in my personal opinion, the top three players in the world, in no specific order: Foden, Bellingham, and Vinny. Oh, and Mbappe. So, in no specific order, those four. Like Holland, he's scoring, but he's scoring against little clubs. He's not scoring the same rate as. No, I think in form, the top four players in the world right now: Mbappe, Bellingham, Foden, and Vinny. And then get to see Tony Cruz come back with Germany versus France. That's gonna be a good game too. His jersey was
I
actually
thought he
the
retired.
most.
No.
No, he came back.
Oh
They call him
shit.
back. He's ready for the Euros. Adidas dropped the Germany jersey, and his kit like doubled the sales of any player close to him. Like his kit did numbers. And then after that, next week, gonna have Brazil versus Spain. I want to see my boy Endrick. I'm excited to see Endrick at Real Madrid. He's gonna play at the Bernabeu. I'm excited for that. So yeah, I guess I'm becoming like a Tigres Monterrey fan. Like, me vale verga la selección. I'm all about Europe, baby.
Wow. Danny, you got anything for us?
Yeah, I think the game tomorrow is going to be scrappy, of course, like everyone's saying, and then U.S. is going to win, and then I think U.S. is going to beat Mexico, but it's not a game I'm interested in. I'm more interested in like the Asian qualifiers and what's going on in Europe. To me, that's just more interesting right now at the moment. Just because it's Nations League, I don't think it's an important tournament.
Yeah, international friendlies. I know that there's some really good, attractive matches happening tomorrow. I think the big one you guys mentioned was like the England Brazil. That looks quite spicy. Joel, what you got for us, Mike? Joel.
I got nothing, Jaime.
Oh.
I haven't been keeping up, man. I haven't been keeping up with the other national teams. I don't know, like, I used to pay attention and watch their games. Now I don't even bother, dude. I just enjoy a game here and there when I get a chance to watch, but definitely get a chance to watch tomorrow. And you're saying we might podcast after the match.
Yeah, I'll leave it up to you guys if you want to, depending on how it goes tomorrow.
What do you mean depending? Si
If it's
pierdes,
a
no
loss,
podcast.
there's definitely a pod. If it's an
No,
easy
but
3-4-0 win, forget about it.
I think if it's if there's a lot of drama and shit, like I think we have to podcast, right? Like it's just
if it's a Mexico loss or they go to PKs, no. If it's a Mexico loss, there's definitely a pod.
Yeah.
If Mexico cruises by, don't waste your breath. Just wait till Sunday.
Maybe just a
right.
30-minute circle jerk.
I'll throw this one out there. Si hay putazos, hay podcast.
I love it. Yes, absolutely.
And lastly, what I'll say is, ¿sabes? Joel does have something for all of us. He's got dishes. He needs help, guys. Porque si no va a venir la vieja y le mete una putiza. So, todos agarren un traste.
Yeah, everybody help out. Don't leave your plates behind. Clean them, I think
at least rinse some way. Like, come on.
Everybody chip in. Oh, man. Want to thank everybody for participation tonight on YouTube and obviously on Twitter Spaces. Isa says, hasta la otra, besitos. Thank you, Isa. And also Disco Fever saying, Joel dreams of meeting Pulisic, but will be too starstruck to say anything. How cute. I love the energy. I can't believe we didn't talk about Adidas and how they have continually disrespected Mexico with their kits. We're going to be looking like peacocks out there. But I do have a theory that the shittier our kits, the better we play. So I think tomorrow should be a pretty easy game against Panama. And, fuck that. I think we got to beat the U.S. in this Nations League once and for all. I think those are my predictions for this weekend, but we'll find out tomorrow. Make sure to follow us on Twitter to keep up with the latest and to join us on this conversation. Thank you guys so much and hope you have a great night. Take care. Thanks, Isa and Disco. We love you guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.